Hey guys, it's Chihira, and today I'm gonna be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. So I've been doing this every year. A lot of people do it. It's a great way to reflect on the last few months of reading since we're halfway through the year. So far I've read 33 books in 2025, which is honestly pretty great for me. I feel like I'm on the right track. I'm actually, for the first time in so long, ahead of my Goodreads goal. My Goodreads goal is 50 for this year, so I am more than halfway through. I think I'm like 9 books ahead of schedule or something. So the reading year honestly has been going pretty good for me so far in terms of the number of books that I read. Now, if you look at the other side, which is how I'm liking my books, my ratings and everything, still haven't found a ton of 5 stars. I did find one 5-star this year, which I'll be talking about. But other than that, it's been a pretty middle of the road year. I have had a lot of 3.5s, so nothing too spectacular. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking about all the books. So the tag is just a bunch of questions that I'll be answering. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2025? So of course I'm going to be talking about my 5-star of the year, which was Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I do own a copy of this book, but my mom is borrowing it right now, so it's back in California. But this is the newest Hunger Games book. I was so excited for this one because it follows Haymitch's games and his story, and Haymitch is such a beloved character from the original trilogy, and I was just so excited for it. I was also a little bit hesitant because obviously this is such a big series that I didn't know what it would be like to have a new book. But this was 5 stars. It was so good. It was so sad. I actually have a full spoiler filled reading vlog for this book that I'll link down below. But overall, it was such a devastating story because we kind of know Haymitch's story and sort of what he's been through from the original trilogy, but this really dove into stuff that we didn't get to see, either because the Capitol was trying to purposefully misconstrue the way things happened, or just the way that history kind of gets rewritten because of propaganda. Propaganda was a really big theme in this book, and talking about that. So overall, it had really relevant themes to stuff that's going on in our world right now. And it was just such a heartbreaking and devastating story overall, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. The next question is best sequel you've read so far in 2025. For this one, I'm gonna say Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is the 3rd book in the When in Rome series, which I have been really enjoying. The first book was just okay for me, but practice makes perfect, and this book, Beg, Borrow, and Steal, have been absolute hits for me. They were both 4 or above. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars, which is a pretty high rating for me these days. And I just really enjoyed the experience. I found myself relating to a lot of it. It follows the oldest sister, and I feel like there's a lot of conversation in it about what it's like to be the oldest sister and kind of growing up in that role. And I also really enjoyed the relationship between the main characters. It does follow an enemies to lovers, but the characters have known each other for quite some time. They met in college, and they kind of started their rivalry from college. So they do have a lot of history before we get the book, but I feel like it was explained pretty well, and I just really loved the way that the story went. I love the characters. I love this town so much because it's so cute. I love a small town romance in general. I think the environment of being in a town where everyone knows each other and it's just a close-knit community and everyone knows everything about what's happening in other people's lives is just a really cute concept. So overall, I really enjoyed this. I'm so sad that it's ending, but I'm so glad that this one was a hit for me. So the third question is, what is a new release that has come out that you want to read but haven't yet? And for that one, I'm gonna say Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli or Cittarelli. This is the sequel to Heartless Hunter. It came out just a couple of months ago, and I really need to get to this. I feel like this will be a pretty quick read because it is YA, and I've heard a lot of really great things about it, and surprisingly I've seen a lot of people say that this one was better than Heartless Hunter. I saw a lot of people giving this 5 stars, and usually a sequel will usually be worse than the first book, but I haven't been seeing that too much. A lot of people have been really loving this book and how it goes and how it ends and everything, so I'm really excited about this, and this is definitely a book that I want to get to pretty soon. Next is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So actually, if I think about it, I don't even know what books are coming out next year. Let me search really quick and find one that I'm excited for. One book I completely forgot was coming out in July is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. This is her newest book, and I believe it's in her first like adult like thriller. I love her Good Girls Guide to Murder series. That is like one of my favorite series ever, and I just really like the way that she wrote it. It was super fast paced, super gripping. I also have read her other books, which are The Reappearance of Rachel Price and Five Survive, and those were both okay. Like, I didn't love them, but I'm really excited and intrigued to see how she's gonna do things in her adult book. Also, obviously you can go into darker themes in like an adult book than a YA, because all her other books have been YA, so I have really high hopes for this one. And she's an author that I feel like, even though some of her books are misses, I'm always gonna be excited for a new release. The next question is biggest disappointment, and for this one I'm sadly saying Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is her newest book, and it is more of a literary fiction. She's kind of going more into that side of things maybe now, at least for this one. This one is a little bit different, as in that there's not like the full focus isn't the main couple. There's a side storyline as well, because this follows two rival like journalists, and they're trying to get the opportunity to write this like famous woman's story who was like a celebrity, and then she went into hiding, and now she's kind of ready to tell her story. So they're kind of both competing for the spot to write it. So it kind of follows that story. I didn't love it. I ended up giving this 3 stars. I was disappointed because I thought the romance was like Emily Henry can write really good romance. Like, I know this because some of her books are like my favorites. But this one, I feel like the romance was just far too fast. Like, the story was pitched to be like not enemies to lovers, but definitely rivals to lovers. But I feel like that part didn't even come in for that much. They were rivals and did like that banter like for maybe a few pages, and then they kind of immediately started talking about how they were developing feelings for each other and were already like kind of nice to each other. So I don't know, I just didn't get that rivals dynamic that I wanted. And then the story itself was not as interesting. I feel like there could have been a lot more room to have a lot more drama. And although I liked how everything connected in the end, I just like the story of the woman that they're writing, I felt a little bit flat for me. There wasn't a lot of drama, there wasn't a lot of like interest. It was kind of just a family story, tree kind of situation. I did get confused. There's a lot of people in that story, and I was kind of getting confused with all the relationships. So overall, I just wanted a little bit more from the story, and I just wish that the romance could have been a little bit more like fleshed out and spent more time in like them getting to know each other. The next question is biggest surprise, and for this one I'm actually gonna say Silver Elite by Dani Francis. This one has been a super popular dystopian romance that just came out like a month or 2 ago, and there was a lot of hype for this before it came out. There's also some like allegations that it was written by AI. I didn't feel like it was, but like I don't know if that's true. I feel like people are just taking things and running with it with this one. But yeah, a lot of people really enjoyed it. I was seeing like really amazing reviews for this before it came out. As the book came, like after the book came out, more like mixed reviews started coming in, and the reason that it was a surprise was because of the mixed reviews. Like a lot of people, like as soon as it got published, I feel like there was a lot of negative reviews for this book, and people were saying that's really bad writing. So I was hesitant because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. Like some people that I follow on like online did really enjoy this, but overall I was just a little bit hesitant. But I was surprised because I ended up really enjoying this. I ended up giving this 4 stars, and although there's like not great writing sometimes, and then the end definitely could have been a lot executed in a better way, I just had so much fun reading this. And honestly, the story was pretty gripping. I was interested in the plot, I was interested in the world, I was interested in the characters and their dynamics and their friendships and everything. So overall, I think I was just surprised by like how much I enjoyed this, and I am anticipating the sequel. The next question is favorite new author, which could be like a new author to you or just a debut author in general. I haven't read any new authors that I've read like multiple times, like for me to know if they're my new favorite authors. Authors that are definitely on my radar to keep reading to see if I enjoy them is definitely Dani Francis. I think I really like her writing style, so I would definitely be interested in any other books that she puts out. as well as obviously the sequel, like I said. Another author is Ali Hazelwood. Read my first Ali Hazelwood just a bit ago, which is The Love Hypothesis, and I enjoyed it. So I'm intrigued to keep reading her books and see if I continue to like them. So I would say both of those are authors that I'm like keeping in my radar. The next question is newest fictional crush, and although I don't really get like crushes on characters, I will say my favorite male main character, I guess I'll just talk about, is actually the last book that I just finished like last night, but that is Jacob from Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. He is such a sweetheart. He is the nicest person you'll ever meet. He is so selfless and he'll do anything for the people that he cares about. Also has anxiety, and I really appreciated that because I feel like I don't get to see a lot of like male main characters struggle with mental health like that. That was really refreshing to see, and overall I think just like how sweet he was and just like how caring he was really won me over. I love a cinnamon roll, and Jacob is exactly that. So I would say probably if I had to pick for this one, I would say Jacob. Next is newest favorite character, and for this one I would probably say Haymitch, honestly, because just learning more about him and learning more about his story just makes you love him and care about him so much more, because he's just been through so much, and I just want him to be okay. I want him to have the perfect life. I want nothing bad to ever happen to him, and I just hope that he will live a very long life with the people that he cares about. The next question is book that made you cry, and I have never cried for a book. I feel like I'm just really aware of the fact that it's not real and that it's fake, and I don't really get attached to fictional characters like that. I don't know if it's just me or like if something's wrong with me, but of course if I had to choose, I would definitely pick Sunrise on the Reaping, because that was a devastating and heartbreaking story. And then is the opposite, which is a book that made you happy, and for that I will always be saying Heartstopper. I reread all of the books because I wanted to read volume 5, and I love rereading this. It's super quick and it's fun. It just makes me happy, and I'm literally like kicking my feet and giggling when I'm reading this entire series, because just their like progression of their relationship is just so cute to watch and read. And every time I want like a pick-me-up or like something to make me happy, I will always be going to Heartstopper. Of course, like as the books go on and as they get older, they're dealing with like darker and like more serious topics, as is natural as you're growing older, but overall this has been a really positive series and has been super wholesome, which I love. So Heartstopper is definitely my pick for the happiest book. Almost done, but the second to last question is what is the most beautiful book that you have gotten so far this year or received? And for this one, hands down, if I had to say overall, I will be talking about a specific book, but overall definitely the Throne of Glass set from Acrylic. It is absolutely gorgeous and I love how they all fit together, but a specific book from this collection has to be the Queen of Shadows, because just the colors on this and like the sunset colors and then the dragons flying around, just really, I love the whole imagery. I just love the color scheme and the dragons and everything, and I love the quote on the back too, which is we are the 13 from now until the darkness claims us. I don't know if you can see that well, but overall I just love the colors mainly and the dragons. I think this is overall just a stunning book. And then the last question is what are some books that you need to read before the end of the year? So I'm actually looking at my 25 books I want to read in 2025, because I created a whole list of books that I want to read, and I have quite a few. I'll just say a few that I'm really excited for / want to get to this year. The first one is Fearless. This is the last Fearless is the third and final book in the Powerless trilogy. It's not like I'm super excited for it, as in like I think I'm gonna love it, but more like I've just an anticipated like sequel / finale to a really highly hyped series. So looking forward to this one, kind of. Then I have, as I said, Not Quite Dead Yet. And then also a book I want to get to, and I'm speaking it into existing. I will get to this book this year, is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I just really want to get into the Mistborn trilogy, because I've heard nothing but good things, and I think it's finally time for me to dive into the Cosmere. I have read Enchantra, which I didn't know why I said Enchantra. I have read Elantris, which is like a standalone from him that's in the same world. I didn't love that one. I thought it was a little bit slower than I was anticipating, and it just felt like things were dragging out. There's a lot of world building in that book, which kind of never stopped. And yeah, but I've heard this one is definitely more action packed, so definitely looking forward to that one. And then the last book I will be talking about that I will, again, speaking into existence, will get into this year is the whole Boys of Tommen, but specifically like Binding 13. I have been hearing like nothing but good things about it. I was really getting FOMO when Releasing 10 came out because it felt like every other person on my feed was reading it and like crying about it, and I just want to know what the hype is and what's going on, so I really want to get to Binding 13 this year. But that is it for the mid-year book freakout tag. Let me know down below your answers to any of these questions, your favorite book. How about that? Give me your favorite book that you read this year, as of course I would love to know. I can't believe we're halfway through the year already, but that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.